One of the craziest stories in the history of politics, in the history of our generation, is this what just happened last week, right? Charlie Kirk, confirmed to be dead at 31 years old. He was killed on a college campus, Utah Valley University. Shot. A sniper from a distance, I think about 200 yards away. They shot him in the neck, and the suspect was caught. His name is Tyler Robinson, 22 years old. And the final words that Charlie Kirk said on camera were captured right here. It was an exchange between a debater. For those who don't know, Charlie Kirk is a right-wing activist, very popular, very influential. Probably, in my opinion, I think that he's the number one. Unfortunately, obviously, you know, for those who support him, he passed away, so we have to say was. But I think it's still going to keep him at number one, this stuff. We're going to get into that, though. But the number one influential Republican, right-wing conservative podcaster, analyst, however you want to name him or phrase him, he was number one to me. Like, his numbers were insane, right? His following was extremely huge. People don't understand that. If you look into it now and you weren't up on, you know, his information or stats, you'll be highly impressed. Like, it was crazy. So he would go to universities and actually debate students, and the clips would go viral all the time, like millions and millions of views. Insane, right? He was probably, you know, the number one guy in that world now. There was a lot of people who've done it before him, the Crowders, etc. But this man, what he's done, right, actually creating a tour with this, is like consistently doing it. And irony, he was killed at an actual debate. And he was debating, I think it was the second student that went up to speak to him, and the student asked him, do you know how many transgender Americans have been mass shooters over the last 10 years? His name was Hunter Kozak. And then Kirk said, too many. And then Hunter responded, 5. Do you know how many mass shooters there has been in America over the last 10 years? Charlie Kirk asked him, counting or not counting gang violence? And a couple seconds later, as he's talking about shooting at a school, this man gets shot at a school. He gets shot in the neck, and he leaves behind, I believe, 2 children, a wife. And this has continued to become one of the most debated topics on the internet, one of the most controversial internet reactions from accounts, a lot of conspiracy theories now as well, a lot of celebrity reactions. Later, towards the end of the podcast, we're going to talk about some local news, and there's like a locals topic with this because there was a teacher now that I believe was placed on leave because of their reaction to Charlie Kirk's or their social media posts. So people's jobs are being affected by this, right? And this is something that, for me, immediately when I saw it, it fucked me up. Why? Because we cover news independently. We are nowhere near a level of a Charlie Kirk, but still, this man was doing content. He's a content creator. He was out there in the field, and while he was doing what he was doing, he was killed, literally killed in front of everybody. The person that killed him, it comes out that, I guess, and Noel probably has some info on this if you've been researching this over the weekend, Noel, but the Tyler Robinson kid, he was a 22-year-old kid. The information that I remember was that his father specifically was like a 27-year-old police officer, 27-year-old veteran police officer, right? And his parents, both of them were registered Republicans. They voted for Trump.
Yeah.
Tyler was seen on a Facebook post dressed up as Trump for Halloween, but kind of like the inflatable Trumps. So it could be taken as mocking or as being Trump. It could be either or. I saw initially that basically he was neutral or like he didn't vote or something like that. So people were like, oh, he's not any party. Because at first everyone thought, and you guys probably saw it, the viral video of this old white man. There was an old white man that was getting arrested.
Yeah.
So everyone thought it was this old white man, and people were like, oh my God, who's this old white man, etc. It's usually a white, young adult male that's behind school shootings, right? That's typically what it is. That's what we see all the time in America. Charlie Kirk, the shooter, again, they did more research. There was videos of him leaving the premises, he had an American flag T-shirt with an eagle. Then another video of a neighborhood nearby where he was walking with a limp, and it seemed like I guess he had the gun, the rifle in his pants. All right. Fast forward, now there was updates of his father turning him to the police after his father saw images on the internet, and his friend confirming the situation because there was Discord messages between him and his friend, and he basically was talking to his friend about how he was hiding the rifle or how he needed to hide the rifle, etc., etc. Right? And on the bullets, to make it even crazier, on the bullets, if anybody had any idea of, oh, did he just kill him for fun? Did he not like Kirk? He definitely didn't like him because he wrote on the bullets basically anti-fascist phrases. One of them specifically that stood out to me was "Ciao Bella, Bella Ciao, Bella Ciao, Bella Ciao," which was a chant from Italy back in the day, anti-Nazi, anti-fascism protest anthem from Italy, and he wrote that on one of the bullets. There was 3 bullets that he didn't shoot that he wrote on as well. Basically, he was ready to at least shoot 4 because he had written on 4 of them. I think one of them was the one that hit.
The one that hit was hey, if you're reading this, you're gay.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
That wasn't the one that hit?
It was like
that was one of the 3 that wasn't shot.
It was like a phrase that,
it was,
for lack of better terms, it was just less. It was the less quotable phrase.
Because I know one of them.
It was something about "Hey, catch this" or some shit like that.
If it was "Hey, catch this," fascist, I think that one was one that didn't get shot. Because I know one of them was the arrows, and it was from that video game. Fuck, I played it too.
Yeah, so one of them said up arrow, right arrow, 3 down arrow symbols, and they said that was the eagle.
Yeah.
It was from as a code from the video game Helldivers.
Helldivers.
You guys
2.
ever played Helldivers 2?
Yeah, I have played Helldivers.
It's one of the codes from Helldivers 2.
Good ass game.
So he was trolling Charlie Kirk in the bullets, literally. That's one of the engravings of the one that I believe didn't go in him. Another one that said, "Hey fascist, catch." Right? And then the Bella Ciao one. The one I believe that hit Charlie Kirk was the one that says, notices OWO, what's this? Notices bulge. OWO is like that thing that they use, like a text emoji, emote that young kids use, kind of like says like, ooh, like ow, or like a face. I forgot how to break it down, but the young kids know. But it's basically a lot of trolling that he was doing in these bullets, which shows you his motive and shows you his intention, and obviously his stance. You can it doesn't take a rocket scientist to understand that this man did not believe in what Charlie Kirk stood for, what Charlie Kirk actually promoted every single day of his life. Now, there's multiple angles about this. First, let's tackle that idea of this. In my opinion, I was not in agreement with a lot of the stuff that Charlie Kirk stood for and believed in, right? A lot of people want to argue he did not have empathy, which he didn't. He would say he didn't have empathy for certain things, specifically death in certain occasions, and he just wasn't that type of person, right? And if you were to die, Charlie Kirk wouldn't give a fuck about you, right? That's the energy that people were saying. So it's like, so I shouldn't give a fuck about him. Me personally, in my life, that's not how I carry myself. My closest friends near me know that I'm always the anti-conflict type of person. I would never feel that type of energy. I wouldn't wish death upon my worst enemy. Why would I want to meet someone? If you say someone's horrible, etc., and they wouldn't do that, etc., but why would I want to meet them at their level? Doesn't that make you worse than that person, right? If I just want to be, cheering and applauding the death, that's how I look at it. That especially just as a father, maybe it hit me differently because his daughters, at least one of them was there in front when
they debunked it.
They debunked it. His daughter wasn't there.
None of them were there. I thought so too.
Not even his wife.
That's what they're saying. None of them saw it.
Okay. Hopefully they didn't, because that's like traumatic for life.
Because I saw it this morning. Someone said.
Obviously they see it. Search it up to research it just in case, because we're definitely gonna have a lot of, you know what I'm saying, all types of people watching this and trying to argue the facts.
No, someone just tried to say the bullet thing was debunked. It wasn't. The Washington Journal posted it.
That the parents, that the kids.
The bullets said what they said. No, someone was in the chat like it didn't say the fascist part of the bullets. It just yes, it did. It was confirmed by the governor. I had to make sure.
Okay, so it did. My thing is this. That's how I feel. But it's weird where we live in a day and age on social media where two things happen. One thing is that people are scared to say how the fuck they feel. Another thing is that everyone wants to just be on the right side of things. Like there's one side, like there's only one right side to things. Two things can be true. Three things, 500 things can be true. There's different angles to things. Like everything doesn't have to be one dimensional. This man was an asshole, in my opinion. He was very good at what the fuck he did, though. And he was a business genius with what he was doing. And the way that he was able to just keep growing and keep growing his fan base, and he knew what he was doing. He knew what he was doing. I disagreed with probably 99% of the shit he was always saying, but I would always observe him from a distance. Like I'll watch people all the time that I don't agree with, because that's the point. You're supposed to consume, in my opinion, a bit of everything to get a balance and to understand life, because not everybody thinks like you. But for me to applaud and cheer his death just doesn't sit right with me, because I wouldn't want to do that with anybody. Like I don't feel that's not who I am as a person, and I'm not gonna be forced by the internet to make me want to be that way as a person. That's not how I am. But I will say this: I do understand those who maybe are from, let's say, a certain community that he spoke ill upon. Maybe if you're from Islam, if you are gay, even if you're a black woman, right? His viral comments about black women specifically. Even if you are those people specifically, Michelle Obama, etc., then it's like, okay, you're probably going to approach it differently because it directs you directly. They're talking about you in that certain way, But me just personally, I'll speak for myself. That's not how I felt. Even instantly, even a week now removed, I don't feel that way. Like, I still feel like at the same time, it's hypocritical for us to, if you disagree with him, I would say it's hypocritical for you to applaud his death, because him dying to me doesn't help your case if you're against him. It only elevates his case, because now he's a martyr by definition, right? He becomes this person who now his followers now cherish and applaud. Today, the vice president of America, J.D. Vance, continued the Charlie Kirk show. He was the host of the Charlie Kirk show today, the vice president of America, right? On paper, internationally in the world, anybody looks at that, they're like, damn, what the fuck? This Charlie Kirk guy must have been important. Like, if you never heard of him, you're like, damn, what the hell? That's without knowing anything that he stands for. So the fact that his influence was that big, it's like this man, his followers and supporters, they're not gonna let him die in vain, right? He's gonna keep on living. And his wife put a video. I don't know if you guys saw the video that went viral of his wife, where she was like, his wife was like recording his body. It was kind of creepy, but it's like everyone reacts to trauma differently, and whatever, that's his wife. She can do whatever the fuck she wants. God bless. But it was like a video of his body, his dead body, I believe, at the casket. I don't think she showed his face, but it was like she was like emotional and like, we're gonna. They think that they're stopping this type of energy. Like he's gonna live on. We got like, I'm gonna keep going. And I think Ben Shapiro doubled down now, saying that he's gonna continue doing the university college debates.
He said that?
And he's gonna like take on the energy that Kirk was doing, right? I see
They
now.
don't have to do shit in bulletproof cases.
I think that the debates are gonna be banned at every university. I think it's gonna be that we're gonna get that announcement soon. I think we're gonna get that announcement soon, because I think it's best case scenario, because at this point it's like, this is too risky. It's unsafe. You can wear a bulletproof vest. You can have 20 bodyguards, but if you have a sniper that's experienced at a top building and they're shooting you in the neck, unless you're wearing a turtleneck with bulletproof casing, you know what I'm saying? It's like, and at that point, it's like, what's the point of this? If we're just here at defense all the time, you don't feel like you're in a welcoming type of community. When you say anything in the world, when you put things out into the world, I do believe in energy, though. I think the power of the tongue is very, very true. And it's very, very real. What I mean by that is like, if you say something, right? If you say certain things, there's going to be a lot of reactions to what you're saying, meaning that you're going to get the lack of empathy and the lack of sympathy on the social media. I'm not surprised by any of it. I'm not surprised by any of it. Do I think that he deserved to die though? No, I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't go that far. I would not go that far because it's just. I feel like we're going to a different level now when we do that because now we're gonna normalize that because then we're gonna say, what's next? Are we gonna encourage the death of other people like him? The Ben Shapiro's, the Crowders, the Trumps, the Trump Juniors. We shouldn't want that. We shouldn't, because on the other side, what if they disliked and that's the thing, because who's the Democratic example of like a Charlie Kirk but Democratic version? There's really not. Really.
AOC.
AOC? Okay, AOC.
There's also
Hassan?
Hassan is one of them.
Hassan, because I know Hassan right now is facing backlash with Trump, not Trump, Elon.
Elon, because he made a joke about killing a U.S. senator.
Yeah. And then Elon's tagging Jeff Bezos.
Yeah.
Talking about looking to Hassan, get him banned from Twitch or something.
The other guy would be, he's not
He's not as big as a Charlie Kirk, but he still is huge.
The guy from the Young Turks, the main dude.
Oh, Cenk?
Yeah.
Cenk. Yeah. If it happened the other way around.
There's also that white kid from TikTok.
Yes.
Guy's name.
Yeah, he came out and he was.
Even he said he didn't fuck with that shit.
Yeah, but my thing, he went too far with it. I wouldn't do. That's another thing. Everyone to each their own. I wouldn't go as far as that famous TikToker, Democratic kid, the white kid who said like, and if you disagree with me or whatever, I don't need your support or whatever the case may be. Like he was coming at his supporters or fans that like, you're not a fan of mine. If you disagree with that, you're not a fan of mine. I personally wouldn't go that far because especially his instant reactions, people are gonna feel how they're gonna feel. If you could believe whatever you want to believe, and if you want to be a fan and supporter personally of mine, so be it. If you don't want to be, I'm not gonna be policing and telling people, hey, don't follow me, etc., because you do this and that. I personally believe in that way, and I think he got backlash because of that. Because he made another video. I think he made like 2 videos following up after that.
A lot of people did.
Yeah, but everyone's kind of backtracking. Everyone's kind of revisiting statements, especially because Trump said that he's investigating, that he already has investigations on a lot of people that said things reacting to Charlie Kirk's death. I think an MSNBC host got fired already. So it's just like I'm telling you, here locally, it's affecting local politics.
Wow,
or local life. The teacher got what's it called?
The teacher got fired?
Not fired. What's that term when they temporary firing?
No, they got paid leave.
Put on leave or something like that. The teacher, yeah, because of their comments, yeah.
Yeah, there goes freedom of speech.
So, yeah. What's been your reaction to all this, Noel?
I have 3 things.
Yeah.
First one is, I've noticed a lot of people like a lot of people on the left, a lot of major journalists. See Mark Lamont Hill too. Like they've all been kind of waiting for the profile of the shooter to come out, because obviously the first reaction was, "Oh, this is a leftist who did this." That's what a lot of people on the right said. I personally do not believe this person was like the stereotypical leftist. When we say the word leftist, people on the right have a perception of what like other people are saying. We're not saying leftist like the weird white person on like Blue Sky who fucking has what's it called? What is it called? The Ukraine flag as in their name. Like that, or like the Biden progressive, the Kamala, not the Biden progressive, the Biden Democrat, the Kamala Democrat. That's not the leftist that I usually call leftist. Leftist for me is more like, it's like the Bernie people, the ones that are a little more fringe. So I get like people are like, oh, he has to be a Biden or a Kamala Democrat and a Biden Democrat versus a Bernie or AOC. And then beyond that is like the anarchist. Those are all different types of people. When y'all just say leftist, y'all are very confusing. We don't know what you're talking about because there's like layers to this. There's like different variations of it. So I don't think it was like a Biden Kamala Democrat that shot Carly Kirk. There's no place on earth that could happen. I don't think it was a Bernie or AOC Democrat because they're mad bitch. Respectfully, like they're not really about it like that. I believe it was an anarchist. I believe it was like the fringest of the fringe. And the reason why I believe that is because of the wording he was using. Like the anti-fascism, Antifa, that group, they're a part of that as well. They're the anti-fascist, the anarchist group. These type of individuals have a certain language that they use. They have a certain humor. So when I saw everything unfolding and I'm like hearing about the bullet casings, I'm like, oh, this is like an anti-fascist. Like this is an anarchist. This is a certain brand of this side of the ideology. And I'm like, okay, I know who did. Like I can understand. I already have an understanding of what your profile is. You probably hate Biden. You probably hate Kamala. You probably kind of sympathize with Bernie, but you think he's not enough. You are a hardliner to the max. You probably got radicalized in college because the fact that his parents were Republican, but he suddenly believes in fascism and like he's calling Charlie Kirk a fascist. Like that's such an ideological shift. There was definitely brainwashing that happened by a very fringe group of individuals. He's probably on like very sketchy and shady Reddit threads and like basically just blogs with a bunch of other people ranting about their dissatisfaction with the way that the world is. They're essentially like the opposite of the extreme right. Like those people, like the Epstein, like hardliner, get all these people out of my country group. The opposite of that would be the anti-fascist, the anarchist. So when I'm watching it, I'm like, this isn't a reflection of the left. This is just a crazy person. Cool. I already know the profile. I ain't got to wait for more information. A conservative will never use the word fascist. They don't talk like that. That's not in their vocabulary. That's not a term that has been popularized in politics by the right. It has been popularized by the anti-fascists, who are a subgroup in a very larger, like, leftist ideology. So they're cool. I'm cool on that. I already know he's like, I don't need niggas on Twitter for the last 3 days debating this shit. I was getting so annoyed. They're like, oh, he's a trans, he loves trans. Or
that there was like a report that he had like a trans roommate or lived with a trans. And it's like, what are we doing here? Like, first of all, the guy was caught.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting, and they're probably gonna do it eventually. Like they're gonna interview him more, interrogate him more. He's alive, unless they kill him or something happens behind the scenes. But he's alive, unless he dies in jail or something.
Didn't they say that they're gonna seek death sentence?
The death penalty.
Yeah,
but death penalty's not right away either. Death penalty's
it takes years.
It takes years if they do the death
20,
penalty.
30 years.
Yeah, it takes a while.
But they might, no, they got to give him a fair trial. They're going to expedite it regardless. But even that, it's Utah, right? Yeah, Utah has the death penalty still. Utah's a sick version of the death penalty. I think they do.
Like Texas does?
Yeah, because I think they don't do the needle
Injection.
anymore. I think they use a different form of killing people. It's very
God.
sick. Yeah, nah, it's sick as hell over there. But like they were debating that shit. I'm like, bro, I know what he is. He's an anarchist. He's an anti-fascist. That's not Bernie. That's not AOC. That's not Biden. It's not Kamala. It is the most fringe of the fringe. I'm cool. Cool. Someone just mentioned Nick Fuentes too. Even if he was a Nick Fuentes supporter, he wouldn't kill Charlie Kirk. Like y'all are like overlapping because y'all don't actually are in these subgroups. You're not in these Reddits. You're not reading what these people are saying. Yes, people like Nick Fuentes hated Charlie Kirk. Like
And
Nick Fuentes
recently has been on like an anti-Trump thing too.
Because Nick Fuentes has been arguing that Trump is a grifter, like Charlie Kirk, and his version of grifting is contributing to the destruction of America because they're doing Israel's bidding and they're allowing illegal immigrants in. That's his narrative. The thing is, even that group wouldn't behave this way towards a conservative person like Charlie Kirk. And they wouldn't use words like calling Charlie Kirk a fascist. They just wouldn't do that. This is the profile of someone that is anti-fascist. So that was my first thing that annoyed me. And I was like, all right, this is getting annoying now. The second thing that bothered me was like obviously the immediate reaction of like, oh, we should celebrate this. I'm with Vic. I don't celebrate political deaths. I think political deaths are fundamentally evil. And I know everyone was saying, Charlie Kirk doesn't have an ideological difference with people. Charlie Kirk actually believes in demoralizing human beings. That's not a difference in beliefs. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news. It is.
Yeah.
It's still a difference of beliefs. Even if someone believes that you're inherently inferior, even if someone believes that you don't deserve certain rights, even if someone believes that you shouldn't be able to do certain things,
Even if someone's a racist, a blatant, you could be a blatant racist, and it's just a difference
of beliefs.
of beliefs, because there's people who are racist, like those videos that go viral all the time, like the very racist town. I forgot the most racist town in America, but they literally like their life day to day, their lifestyles religiously being racist.
Yeah. And
It's crazy.
And that's what falls into the category of like, they don't believe you should exist. But again, they're not acting on it. And some people again would argue, well, their policies and the things that they're voting for and the people they're voting for are reflective of that. But I don't believe to the extent that you're claiming it to be. And I think the reality is you can't exterminate them. What are you gonna do? Like we have to have an honest conversation now. I'm tired of this narrative because if you're gonna tell me that this person, this bottle, let's say this bottle's a human being, is fundamentally evil, I have to kill everyone that thinks like this bottle?
Yeah,
that
doesn't make sense to me. That's unhealthy.
Because where does the line get drawn? And this is where I get a little frustrated because, and this is the argument I've always had with academics, a lot of the people who think like this tend to act as if they're like incredibly educated and like well-versed in political situations. Yo, some of the most violent genocides happen at the hands of academics and intelligent people. Mussolini was a socialist. He was the head of the Socialist Party in World War I. Mussolini ended up being one of the major dictators of World War II. Pol Pot, who led the genocide in Cambodia, he studied socialism and communism in Europe before he went back to Cambodia and started an entire genocide off this belief that if he killed educated people and he reverted everyone back to an agricultural society where they were all farmers, he would have a utopian society. He killed people in the hopes of creating a utopia. You can't kill people that think differently from you because it doesn't matter if your intentions are good or bad. You're going to lead to some form of dictatorship or just horrible society or some form of genocide. Like that shit is just not morally acceptable. So I don't know what y'all want from us. Yeah. Like niggas on Twitter were making these arguments all week. Oh, this is what you're sympathizing with. This is what you want us to feel bad for. This person who's preaching all these horrible things. And I'm like, so what do you want me to do? You want me to kill him? You want me to arrest him? I don't understand how you people think. And this is where I always get frustrated with people who disagree with the Charlie Kirks, the Ben Shapiros, and the Candace Owens, and the Donald Trumps. If I disagree with someone, this is what I was taught in school. You debate it. Give me your argument. You niggas think we should just agree with you because it's the right thing in your mind. I've saw people on the internet saying I shouldn't have to argue for my humanity. Yes, you do. And it sucks. And it sucks to say that out loud, but then it's the truth. It's been throughout all of human history. Why do you think you're so fucking entitled that you're the only group of human beings that didn't have to argue for why they should exist and live? I'm sorry that life is this terrible, but niggas have to make an argument for why they shouldn't be oppressed. It has always been consistent since the inception of humanity that we have to advocate for us to not do fucked up shit to each other. And there's just this fucking, the thing, and this is what frustrates me with this group. There is such an ego and such a narcissism of like, oh, I'm right. I'm definitely right. So you have to agree with me. Mm-hmm. And if you don't agree with me, you should die. You should be arrested. You shouldn't be allowed in society. No, you need to make a better argument and convince normal people to agree with you. Because they probably do. It's just you're such a dick that no one wants to really agree with you because you think you know everything. And this has been my frustration with this group all these years because I hear how some of you talk to other human beings. And I'm like, bro, I wouldn't want to agree with you even if I did. Because you're sitting here on your moral high horse telling people how to behave, how to act, how to think. And it's like no one wants to hear that for real. Like you need to be more convincing and it sucks, but it's not what you say, it's the approach. That's something I've learned in life. Y'all need a better approach with the way you make arguments for why we should support shit versus telling me, oh, this is so horrible. This is why you should support this. And if you don't, you're a horrible person. What the fuck? Ain't no one listening to you, bro. Yeah. God bless.
Yeah, to me, he definitely was, he was someone that like I said again, I hated a lot of stuff that he would say, disagreed wholeheartedly with him on a lot of things. And I would see the reactions. People have been calling him racist, fascist for years, all this stuff.
Yeah.
Right. He would double down on takes, right? He didn't care what people would say. He would double down on certain things. But I would say he would debate. Like he would go to college campuses and debate, which is something that I feel like it needs to be done more and open dialogue conversations. Even though the ones that would go viral and that he would post the most seemed like the ones where he was shitting on the less educated on the topic,
Oh, of
on
course.
purpose, because that's what you're gonna paint, that's what you're gonna do, right? Because it's gonna make you look better. So that's how that's how it worked. I would imagine. God bless the other ones that didn't make the cut. But
But and that's kind of my third point, and this is my last thing.
yeah,
Because then there was the other side. My Christian brothers and sisters, because I'm Christian, I wake up, the first thing I do is read my Bible. I'm going to be the first one to tell you this was not a good man. There are no good men, but this man chose to actively not be a good person.
yeah,
This man, I don't care if he preached the gospel. That's never been my provocative. Yo, there's dudes on the street right now preaching the gospel, and they're saying things that no one's listening. They're saying things in a way, because again, it is not what you say, it's how you say it, and it's how you go about it. The way he went about it was terrible. He was a grifter. He used sensationalized statements and comments to arouse frustration and anger on certain topics, and he divided people. That is not how you preach the gospel. This dude was the exact opposite of what you would want for someone who preaches the gospel. And you could tell me, oh, he's preaching the gospel and he's attacking the evil of the world. No, he's not. Don't feed me the sly.
the George Floyd situation, we brought it up in here when he did that. That was like a prime example, like him trying to say that George Floyd's killer should be pardoned by Trump. Trump should let him go. That George Floyd died. He didn't kill George Floyd. A bunch is like, okay, now you are purposely doing this because you know it's gonna get you into the race topics, and then people are gonna it's like race baiting, and then you're gonna be like, I'm not a racist, I'm just looking at the facts. I think that his health and the medical records and this and that is like, no, brother. We all saw the video. The whole world, like, what are we doing here? Now we're just playing semantics, but it works for
His views.
his fame, his views,
Yeah.
and thought provokingness and controversialness. That was his job. And it worked, right? But then what do? You're supposed to question him. For example, Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith debated him on his show about that topic. It was a great conversation that they had. I saw that. I was like, wow, that was a good conversation, because Stephen A. Smith's like, I don't agree with that. Like, why would you say that, this and that? And he was like, oh, this and that. He's like, no, I don't. Blah, blah, blah. He didn't change Stephen A. Smith's opinion, but they still were able to carry the conversation. But it was definitely like things that were just unnecessarily, like, it felt like he was saying things that were just unnecessarily, and his influence got so big that also at the same time, to me, there's people, for example, Tucker Carlson is an example. When Tucker Carlson was on his very conservative right wing and pushing these type of agendas on Fox News, now when he's been independent, the first thing he was saying after becoming independent was like, yo, I was capping. Like, he admitted to lying and to like propping things up and etc. He still dives into that world, and he does that here and there, but it was not to it's not to the level how he used to when he was on Fox. And I guess it took him years and going through what he went through to like change his opinion on things. And that could have been the case for Charlie Kirk. They could have been 10 years from now a Democratic Charlie Kirk, you know what I'm saying, or a centrist Charlie Kirk. People change their views. To kill someone doesn't make them change their views. The views still exist. His followers still exist. His followers grow. So to applaud his death, like, yes, he should die because I don't agree with his beliefs, it doesn't make sense. It's hypocrisy, because now you are becoming the person that applauds the killer, right? You're applauding the killer. You're trying to make this killer the hero. That's not how it should be, guys.
Yeah.
That's not healthy. That's not godlike at all, And at the same time, a lot of the stuff that he would say to me wasn't godlike. The way he would attack religions, I didn't like that shit. When I saw his debates on Christianity and how everyone should be it, and the way he would try to like force it, that's the way to be, and the ideologies, I'm like, nah. It's not healthy. It's not healthy. But I know that a lot of people believe that the way he does.
Yeah. So this is my thing. When you preach, just because someone preaches the gospel does not mean they're a good person. There's no correlation there. George Wallace, who fought against desegregation in the South in the 60s and 50s, literally one of the most famous historical figures in U.S. history, one of them. He was constantly against Martin Luther King. he was a born-again Christian.
Mhm.
He was an active preacher of the gospel, and he weaponized it in a way to push racism and discrimination. By your definition and your logic, Charlie Kirk is a great person because he preached the gospel. So George Wallace was a great person because he preached the gospel. No, that's not how it works. Now, there are no perfect people. There are no great people in this, like a perfect, great human beings in this world. Everyone is flawed. Everyone has their issues. The problem with Charlie Kirk was Charlie Kirk deliberately ignored the foundations of Christianity. And this is where I get frustrated that his followers have been immobilized by the fact that he's died. They're saying that he's going to resurrect. They're hoping he resurrects. They're hoping they use him, that God uses him in a way to show his greatness.
You don't see the videos? There's videos of like these white
Jesus.
men. There's videos of white men. There's videos of white men so mad on TikTok. Like they're red, screaming and crying, and they're saying that
crying.
we're going to get revenge. Like now, that's it. You guys did it now. Went too far. Now we're going to avenge his death, right? So if you are on the opposite side of Charlie Kirk's beliefs, does this help you? It doesn't help you because now it's like you're putting the death only puts a battery in the back of the people that already believed what he's believed in.
He's up 100. He's up another 1 million followers right now on IG.
Wow,
Close to 2 more because he was already at like 8. He's at 17. I think he's at 18 now, about to hit 19.
Where was there was like protests overseas? Was it in Korea?
Yeah, no, there was
It was like the streets of Korea, bro.
They were
thousands of people in Korea.
Mar.
I mean, let's put the screen real quick. Let's see, Korea, Kirk. Was it I guess you could say protest. But I saw a video of this. I was like, is this AI?
No. Yeah, followers. Charlie Kirk was one of the people who truly pushed the grifter conservative movement. I have to admit, he did a really great job at it.
Was it Korea? I think it was right here.
No, it was Korea. It was South Korea. That's Seoul.
Look at this. Look at that. In Korea, bro.
But
chanting, "We are Charlie Kirk. We
fully
are
believe it.
Charlie Kirk." Look at this. Wow.
Yeah, because conservatism doesn't have a race. This notion that conservatism is this philosophy of like white supremacy only. That's not true. Conservatism can find itself in any person because it is a fundamental belief of old archaic values that benefit only a certain group of people. Obviously you can tie it to white supremacy. I'm not a firm believer of that. The fact that these people are running around in Seoul, Korea, I think they were in South Africa too, protesting, like thanking Charlie Kirk. Bro, it's just a philosophical belief that people adopted across the world. That doesn't mean it's right. And it's not dismissive in nature. Yeah, they were in England too. Look at them.
It's in London.
God bless.
They're mourning Charlie Kirk in London, right?
Why not yo with the two? Sorry to jump in. Unity, love, peace. No war, no racism, no division.
Yeah, it's all great in words.
Yeah, me personally, like I've always said it, like I would have a conversation with anybody in this world. Like I could disagree with you, you know, I could almost feel like this like hate in my heart for you, but to if I don't really know you on a personal level, man, like it's just like, for example, he was a piece of shit with his beliefs, right? And the shit that he would do with it, right? But he probably was a great dad. We don't know. He probably was a great dad. He probably was a great husband.
That's what people were saying.
And he probably was a great friend. For example, that's what Candace Owens keeps preaching, that he was a great friend to me, a great friend. People that knew him in his direct circle, they're going to look at it that way, right? I just think it's unhealthy once we start applauding his... Now, if you want to say this, I don't... Fuck it. I don't care about his death. No opinion. Like, oh, or like, I'm not going to say rest in peace. Like, oh, I understand. I feel like that's more of a healthier approach, but to like applaud his death and then say that there's more people, that he's one of many more that should be happening, and like make it like a chant, like a, I don't know. The shit I've seen online, I was like, damn. Like, I know you can hate someone, but the way that people are making it is like, you would have thought that this man was like the real deal Hitler of our time or something at that level.
No, but this is where the opposite side has to be held accountable. Because Vic is right, and I agree with Vic. We shouldn't just blatantly spread hate. In the presence of hate, we should respond to it with love and compassion. However, the love and compassion that I'm seeing is incredibly disingenuous. You are not going to tell me that Charlie Kirk was this great human being who had all this loving compassion, and you're not going to tell me that you're taking this opportunity to defend someone, this moment being the first time you speak on political issues.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of you who are ignoring. Charlie Kirk defended the murderous massacring that has happened right now at this very moment, because they're still bombing as we speak in Palestine. And there are people in the chat saying, you niggas should just stick to music. For real, for real. Yo, I'm going to tell you right now, I've been saying free Palestine since 2013. I've been keeping up with politics like half my life. I went to school for this. Political science, economics, philosophy are my 3 majors. I actually have learned from people who have sat in Congress. One of my professors was a U.S. representative in the state of Rhode Island. He was there when they tried to impeach Bill Clinton. One of my presidents was literally working under Vladimir Putin as an ambassador. You niggas speak, but you don't actually understand what you're talking about, and it gets frustrating sometimes because there's not an openness to try to hear someone's opinion. You want everyone to hear what you got to say, but when niggas who have actually put in the work to understand the issue speak, y'all go to deaf ears because it contradicts what you're saying versus actually listening before responding. Now, this is my argument. I hope you listen before you go to chat and respond. Because it's crazy to me, bro. Like, let's actually listen and have a conversation. Charlie Kirk defended what's happening in Israel. And this is specifically for the Christians. There are Christians getting bombed in Palestine right now. There are Christians getting bombed in Lebanon. There are Christians getting bombed in Jordan. And it is by the hands of the Israeli government. And Charlie Kirk said the killing of other Christians was fundamentally okay for the protection of Israel. That is anti-Christian. That is against the gospel. Stop playing with me. I will pull up the verse if I have to. You cannot kill other Christians. And they're not dying because they're not going away. They're not dying because they refuse to leave their homes and their churches. They're dying in worship. What are we doing here? And beyond that, we're killing kids.
Yeah, no.
We're killing innocent children who haven't even been given the opportunity to live their lives. For what? And you're telling me Charlie Kirk was this great human being even though he ignored that. He had no moralism around that. He stood by Benjamin Netanyahu and said, yeah, let's keep doing this. Let's just keep bombing a country to death. Let's just keep pounding on this country like they're nothing. And this is my biggest frustration. Y'all don't talk about no politics. So many people I've seen online don't talk about politics ever. Bro, there was a famous golfer, Philip Nichols. He came out, put a whole tweet about how the whole Charlie Kirk thing has showed the immorality of America. Yo, Philip Nichols, there are children being born and dying the moment they're born. And it's your tax dollars paying for it.
Wait, Phil Nicholson?
Phil Nicholson. He wrote a tweet, bro.
What the hell? Let me look that up. That's crazy.
Go look it up. I see this shit before I got here. I'm like, Phil Nicholson, are you serious? Like, what is wrong with you people? The dude preached the gospel. I don't care. Because he sat there and he watched children die. This isn't passion. It isn't anger. It's like, yo, at some point, we have to stop. Like, we have to stop coping for people. How is that Christian? How is that morally right? And why should we defend that? It's evil.
And also, I think a good conversation would be when we see the people, right, who are also on the other fence shitting on Charlie Kirk's death and applauding his death and celebrating his death. Even though I do think celebrating the death is wrong, looking into why they might feel that way is like, okay, when you research the stuff like Noel's saying and all this stuff, you research what he stood for, etc. You see, like I said earlier, where people do lack the sense of sympathy and empathy, and it's like it's not coming just out of nowhere. It's because like they saw what this man stood for and believed in, and they were completely against it. But to react that way and applaud the death is, to me, it's not the way that I would do it. It's not the way that I would do it. God bless, God bless us all. I think this is not the way to do it. It's a very weird time right now. It's a very weird time.
But if you're gonna call it out,
it's a very weird time. It
be
feels,
consistent.
It's weird, man. It's very like, it feels dark right now in the world. It feels dark,
bro.
because even what he stood for a lot of times to me was dark within itself. But then, killing him to me is the darkest that it becomes. Yeah, I was looking it up. It was Phil Mickelson.
It was Mickelson?
Mickelson with an M. Yep.
Oh, I thought it was Nicholson.
And ironically, I think he works at Live Golf now. He works with Dubai, the oil money over there, because now they dropped a bag on golfers over there. And there's a controversial because a lot of golfers are not doing it. They're like,
No,
oh,
yeah.
I wouldn't want to do that. I don't want to work with them. But some of them are going over there, and he's one of them ones I think that went over there.
Oh, well, they're bombing your bosses, bro.
Yes. The irony is crazy.
Just have consistency. That's all I want. Just be ideologically consistent. You going to defend the fact that we shouldn't kill people blatantly like Charlie Kirk? Defend the children dying in Gaza. That's it.
They gonna love me for my ambition.
And that was a clip from our podcast, the Club Ambition Podcast. Cap, if you're looking to watch the full episode, make sure to go check it out right now. It's available on audio and also on YouTube.